Is a new era beginning in Indian politics with the rise of Gen Z? Or will Gen Z be remembered merely as a generation addicted to the digital world? A definite answer is not possible to either of these questions at this stage, because Gen Z stands at a crucial turning point. On one side, there is a digital world of smartphones, artificial intelligence, social media, instant entertainment, and unlimited access to information. On the other hand, there are problems such as unemployment, poverty, corruption, addictions, and uncertainty about the future. Therefore, the real question is not whether Gen Z has problems. The real question is whether this generation can overcome these challenges and emerge as a formidable force that can transform India's future. Friends, none of my videos are short visuals of entertainment. They deal with the serious issues of public interest and national importance. So I request you to stay with me till the end of this video. Namaskar and welcome once again to my YouTube channel, Dr.R.K. NAIDU'S Insights. I am Dr. R.K. NAIDU, former principal, S.S.G.S. Degree College, Guntakal. Friends, today we are going to look at Gen Z, neither by praising it blindly nor by condemning it unfairly, but through a critical, constitutional and analytical lens. We will examine its challenges, its potential, and above all, the responsibility it carries towards the political and social future of India. India is among the world's youngest major nations, and Gen Z forms a substantial part of its population. Yet, there is an interesting contradiction. Though our population is young, our elected political leadership remains predominantly older. The average age of our members of our 18th Lok Sabha is around 56 years. By this, I do not mean that there is anything wrong with having experienced leaders. But can we call it a healthy democracy when young people remain largely spectators? That is a legitimate question worthy of our consideration. There is another concern that directly affects Gen Z. An RTI response has revealed that more than 8.23 lakh sanctioned posts in central government civilian establishments were vacant as of March 1, 2024. At a time when millions of young Indians are seeking employment, filling existing vacancies efficiently and transparently must be as important as creating new jobs. Friends, why is Gen Z being discussed so widely across the country today? The answer lies not merely in its numbers, but in its growing anger to question the institutions and demand accountability. The rise of Gen Z is no longer confined to social media or campus discussions. From the NEET-UG paper leak controversy and the nationwide debate over the integrity of competitive examinations to the prolonged protests by young aspirants that led to the cancellation of 22 JPSC examinations in Jharkhand, a decision that was later stayed by the Jharkhand High Court. India's younger generation is increasingly raising its voice when its education, careers, and future are at stake. Friends, a similar question has now emerged in Rajasthan. Following Cockroach Janata Party's Save the Schools campaign, restrictions were reportedly imposed on outsiders entering government schools and on photography, videography, and live streaming, while CJP activists were reportedly chased and subjected to stone pelting by pro-government activist groups. Of course, security, discipline, and student privacy are valid concerns, but a larger democratic question remains. If government schools are public institutions supported by taxpayers, should responsible citizens, especially young citizens, not have a legitimate role in observing their condition and questioning what needs to be improved? This becomes even more relevant when Prime Minister Narendra Modi has repeatedly stressed youth participation and opportunities, including free online coaching initiatives for competitive examinations. More recently, at a Union Cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister called for a one-day, one university outreach, under which a union minister would visit a university each day, interact directly with students, and listen to their concerns and aspirations. Interestingly, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat has also recently spoken about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, saying that their questions should not be dismissed, but deserve a dialogue and reasoned responses. Friends, but should Gen Z have a role in politics? My answer is yes, absolutely. But that does not necessarily mean a permanent constitutional quota exclusively for Gen Z. But rejecting a Gen Z quota does not mean accepting the present imbalance in political participation. Young people deserve a far more meaningful role in Indian politics. They should not be treated merely as a vote bank, a crowd for political rallies, or a source of social media publicity. They should participate in the political process. We cannot ignore the digital world in which Gen Z has grown up. A smartphone can be a library, it can be a business tool, it can be a weapon for exposing corruption, but the same phone can also become a trap. Endless reels, online games, misinformation on social media. Technology should remain a tool in the hands of Gen Z, but Gen Z should not become a slave to technology. Friends, Gen Z can play a crucial role in fighting against corruption, but they must not become part of the corruption they oppose. It is easy to say politicians are corrupt, but what will we do if someone offers us a bribe? It is easy to condemn vote buying, but if someone offers us money for our vote, will we refuse it? Clean politics is not only about rejecting corruption, it's also about protecting the values on which our democracy stands. Then people must stand for equality, social justice, and secularism. Secularism does not mean opposing religion. It means respecting every religion and ensuring equal rights for every citizen. It means demanding equal opportunities for everyone, irrespective of caste, religion, region, or language. Friends, our constitution begins with three powerful words: we the people, and today Gen Z is an important part of that we. So the question is no longer whether Gen Z should have a voice. The real question is, what will Gen Z do with that voice? Use technology, do not become a slave to it. Do not run away from politics, understand politics. Do not hate previous generations, learn from their experience. Do not treat political leaders as gods, question them. Do not blindly believe propaganda, verify the facts. Do not wait for someone else to eliminate corruption. Start the change with yourself. India does not merely need a generation that goes viral. It needs a generation that creates value. Not merely a generation that complains about corruption, but one that refuses to become a part of it. Not a generation that fights only against political opponents, but one that fights against poverty, unemployment, addiction, ignorance, and injustice. Not merely a generation that inherits the constitution, but one that understands its values and practices them in everyday life. Friends, a few years from now, when historians look back at this period, they may ask, did India's Gen Z remain just another generation that watched history unfold? Or did it become a generation that decided to create history itself? The answer is in their hands. But remember, India's future is not to be handed over to Gen Z. We also must build that future together with them. Friends, if you feel that this discussion has made you think, share this video with friends and others and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Jai Hind. Namaskar.